Special celebration. And it's not the celebration that Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow this morning. I did hear a comment this morning that he did see his shadow, therefore we will have another 6 weeks of winter weather. If he had not seen his shadow, we would only have had another month and a half of winter weather.
All right.
Now, with my one joke for the day completed, again, seriously, expression of thank you for coming out. We're here for a very special celebration. If this were television, I suppose I would feel like Ralph Edwards, because this is your life on a Nicholas County scale for Dr. Alan Hamon, for the years of service, commitment, dedication, and devotion to this community and to the people of this community. I can't think of a better and more appropriate way to spend a Sunday afternoon. I would like to begin by introducing the family. For those few, there may be one or two who don't know the family, so I will introduce them. Starting at this end is our guest of honor, Dr. Alan J. Hamon. Sometimes we don't recognize him without the white beard, but this is Dr. Hamon. His wife Ann is next to him, and the way I'm going to read them the way I have them written down here, and you pick out the one you like. Cindy, Michelle, Mark, and Jan. Did I get it right? In the wrong order, but...
My name is Ted.
Oh, that's right, Tish. That's Michelle, that's Tish.
That's my middle name.
Did I do it right that time? I could have read both names for all of you and really prolonged the agony. Dr. Hamon, I'm going to be talking to you this afternoon rather than to the people sitting out there in front of us, because this is a celebration of your life and the years that you have committed to this community, and hopefully to the many, many more years that you will be an important part of the community, even if not in active medical practice. What better way to start the recognition of some of the people who played a role in your life than by starting with the very first baby you delivered. Now, she's supposed to be here. I haven't spotted her in the crowd, but there she is, Leah Ann Garrett. Leah Ann, would you stand up, please? The birth of a baby, the birth of a program for the afternoon, and salute to you, Dr. Hamon. You also had a very, very valuable bunch of people working in to ask Pauline Earlywine to come forward, if she would please, and make some comments in behalf of your staff, Alma Anderson, Pat Cohorn, Pauline, and Billy Ackerman, all of whom are here. And if the other three of you ladies would like to come up on stage with Pauline, feel free to do so.
Well, I just want to read a poem that I have written for you, Dr. Hamon. When Dr. Hamon retired as our boss, each of us felt a terrible loss. No phones to answer, insurance to send, no Medicare, no cuts to mend. But all our patients felt it more. No more streaming through the door. By twos and fours they came each day so docs could take their ills away. He did all this and even more. He was there to lean on when hearts were sore. Not only a doctor, but also a friend on whom they knew they could depend. They always came first, no matter what. Other things could wait. He'd take that trip on a later date. But things don't always go as planned, and fate can deal a different hand. Now, Dr. Hamon, we want you to know how everyone misses you so. But now's the time for you to take part. Relax, enjoy. And here's a start. Dinner for two. Take along your wife, and make the most of this leisurely life.
If that's just the start, what's the emotional level going to be by the time we get to the end of this program? The Carlisle drug has done an important part, as has Hopkins drug, in the practice and the life of Dr. Alan Hamon. And Rusty Lawrence asked if he could come up and make some comments this afternoon. Rusty, are you here? Yes. Rusty Lawrence, speaking on behalf of Carlisle drug.
It has been my privilege to work with Dr. Hamon for the past 20 years. And I think, looking back over that period of time, the word that best describes him from his patients and from me is dedication. Dedication not only as a physician, but dedication to individual patients he saw. I don't know the times that I have listened to patients say, Dr. Hamon is so much more to me than just a doctor. He is my friend. He is a part of my family because I know when I am in need, Dr. Hamon will be there, whether it be at the emergency room, whether it be at his office, whether it be at the hospital, or whether it would be under the street light. Alan, it has been my privilege to work with you for the past 20 years, not only because you're a good physician and a good friend, but more importantly, you're an inspiration to all of us as a good Samaritan. Thank you.
Dr. Hamon, you didn't restrict all of your good deeds to Nicholas County by any means. The people in the neighboring county of Robertson owe you a great debt. And the county judge-exec, Wayne Buckler, is here, I believe, to make a presentation in behalf of Robertson County.
Ladies and gentlemen, the doctors of Nicholas County have been very helpful crisis, running that need to be had or whatever, they call on Dr. Hamon. He was always there. So Dr. Hamon, in your retirement, we wish you the very best. We thank you for all you've done for Robertson County. God bless you.
Well, Dr. Hamon, you've seen that first baby already, who's not much of a baby anymore. But before you delivered that first baby, there had to be a couple of people who were your first patients. Now, we've done a lot of research, and your office staff has helped us in that research, as unscientific as it may have been. And we weren't able to pin down exactly which of these people was the first patient. But we did find who those first two patients were, and both had indicated they were going to try to be here this afternoon. So as a part of This Is Your Life, if J.W. Crump and Jane Ann Bradley Wells are here, I would like them to stand and be recognized. The hospital staff at Nicholas County Hospital has valued the years of association with you, and I saw a very, very sincere hug exchanged with the spokesperson for that staff when you came in. But now she has something she wants to say, and I promised I would even say her last name correctly. Speaking for the hospital staff, Mary Catherine Napkin.
It is a rare privilege for me to be here today. When Leon Riggs called and asked if I would participate this afternoon, I said yes without hesitation. And Leon said, I knew I could count on you. And those words have kept going around in my brain for days, because those words signify what Dr. Hamon means, someone we could always count on. In the 20 years plus that we worked together, we didn't always see eye to eye. We had our little disagreements. But I have to say that we had a very warm, very friendly professional relationship through the years. There are so many memories, so many that all can't be mentioned today. I can recall his first few weeks in our community when he was so eager to build his practice. He called the hospital umpteen times a day. Is there anything going on? Do you need me for anything? And finally one day Carson said, look, if we need you, we'll call you. And then all of a sudden this practice mushroomed, and he was working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Back then, doctors made house calls. There are some sad memories, and there are humorous memories. Now this one I really wasn't going to mention, but I found out one day that my job description had an addition. Seems the elastic broke in the doctor's scrub suit in the middle of the operation, and a new duty was to pull up the breeches of the doctor. Now that one I wasn't going to mention. A lot of times, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I was awakened rudely by the phone, and Ellen would be on the other end. Mary Catherine, hurry up and get out here. Let's see if we can save this baby. And we knew then we had an emergency C-section. And I have seen tears of joy on his face when he put that precious little baby in that mother's arms. And I've also seen tears of sorrow on his face because many times he shared in the grief of patients' families. We're here to honor a man, a doctor, a friend. I find it sort of fitting that this man with this big heart chose to practice in a town with the motto, the little town with the big heart. I know we're all here today because of this special place that he has in our hearts. And I know everyone wants to say thanks for the memories.
The Nicholas County Hospital Auxiliary is also Kate Chambliss wants to speak for the auxiliary this afternoon. Kate, would you come forward, please?
On behalf of the Nicholas County Healthcare Auxiliary, we'd like to present you with a little something this afternoon, and with our good wishes and our prayers that God will continue to bless you and uphold you and keep you in his tender, loving care always.
Now, all you've heard so far is words of people talking. Some very serious words, some very important words, some very humorous words. But we felt that this program should not be all just spoken words. We thought a little bit of music just might fit well this afternoon. I don't see your banjo. I guess you didn't bring it. But Hop and Bill are here. So Albert Hopkins and Bill Snap, if you would come on out here toward the center, I'm going to get a microphone down there to you, and Dr. Hamon can join you, or he can enjoy what it is you're going to do. So music, boys. Bill, do you need a microphone? Okay. By the way, where is that banjo? Is it home? See? He's leaving us a little bit short this afternoon. I've never heard him play. How many here have heard him play the banjo? See, I'm in the minority. I saw these hands go up past us all, of course. See, now I feel slighted that I didn't get to hear you play the banjo, so now I'm going to have to come out Concrete Road and let you play for me sometime. Bill, you ready?
I have a tape at home where the doctor's playing backup. We were playing down to the National Guard Army one day, or one night, and somehow or another he got on the tape. And I would have brought it except it was for me doing the singing and him playing, and I didn't think I wanted to hear that. Thank the Lord for big favors. I thought that Doc Banjo would show up somewhere or another, but I don't believe he did.
Thank you, music boys. Thank you, Bill and Albert. Farm Bureau. I understand you've had some little involvement with the Farm Bureau over the years. Cliff Weiss, you're speaking to the Farm Bureau. Come up here and tell us about it.
He's not only a doctor, he's a farmer also. Has some of the best black Angus cattle, I guess, that one can buy. About several years ago, when the state was testing for brucellosis, Doc goes home for lunch one day, and this big car pulls in the drive right behind him. He gets out and he says, "Are you Dr. Hamon?" He said, "Yes, I am." He said, "Well, sir, I'm Ken Johnson from the veterinarian office in Frankfurt. We have come to test your cattle." Doc says, "That's all good and well, but," says, "I don't believe if I was you, I'd go in that farm lot." You could tell this guy wasn't a farmer by the look at his clothes. He didn't have his four buckles on. And you don't go in a barn lot and next jack that's four buckles, that's for sure. Well, when Doc told him that, he reached in his pocket, he pulls out a card. He said, "Doc," he said, "this card here says that nothing or no one can keep me from testing your cattle." Doc said, "That's all good and well, but I don't believe I'd go in that barn lot." Well, with that, he didn't say any more. Right on through the gate, into the barn lot he went, and around the barn. He hadn't gone around the barn for about a second, and here he come back, going about 40 miles an hour, and his coattail sticking out, and had the biggest bull you ever saw. Right? They go around the barn, and every time he come around the corner where Doc was, he would holler, "Hey, Doc, help me. Get this bull away from me." He did that about 3 times, and on the 3rd round, this bull was gaining on him. He says, "Doc, you've got to do something." Doc says, "Show him your card, Dean. Show him your card." Dr. Hamon has been a beneficial part of all of our lives. He has been and will be a very positive and inspiring asset to our community. I am sure many doctors, good doctors, will practice medicine in Nicholas County, but no one can fill the footsteps of Doc Hamon. He not only signed the prescription and put you on the road, he took time out to be a friend. Intelligent, honorable, understanding, quick-witted, and I'm sure that everyone in this room could add many words of goodness to such a great man. At this time, I would like to, on behalf of the Nicholas County Farm Bureau, to present a plaque to Doc Hamon. Award of gratitude presented to Dr. Alan J. Hamon. With this award, we wish to extend to you our sincere appreciation for your kind and devoted attention above and beyond the call of duty to the needs of the lives of the residents of Nicholas County. The greatest gift you can give is your loving care for the Nicholas County Farm Bureau.
Two gentlemen got together in Nicholas County earlier this week, Dr. Hamon, and they had prepared resolution number 2, 1992, and I'm going to read that resolution and then invite these two gentlemen to come up on the stage and they have presentations for you. The resolution proclaiming February 2nd, 1992 is Dr. Alan J. Hamon Day in the city of Carlisle and Nicholas County. Be it resolved by the city of Carlisle and Nicholas County that Sunday, February 2nd, 1992 be and hereby is proclaimed Dr. Alan J. Hamon Day in the city of Carlisle and Nicholas County, that the resolution shall take effect upon its passage and approval as required by law, that the city clerk and the county clerk be directed to publish the resolution as soon as possible, passed on January 27th, 1992, signed by Franklin M. Hughes, Mayor, Reese Smoot, Judge, attested by Mary S. Tapp, the City Clerk, and by Doug Fryman, the County Clerk of Nicholas County. Mayor Franklin Hughes and Nicholas County Judge Exec Reese Smoot. Would you come up, gentlemen, please?
Doc, I come in the door, I had about a 4-page speech, Bill Dale and Dr. Riggs took it away from me. I said I had 30 seconds. So they did a script search me, and I did have one thing in my pocket they didn't find. And on behalf of the city of Carlisle, I'd like to present you a key to the city. So if they lock the gates, you can always open them, come on in.
On behalf of the Nicholas County Municipal Court, myself, Dr. Alan J. Hamon, gratitude for faithful service to Nicholas County 1969 to 1991. Nicholas County Municipal Court.
The reason we took that 30-minute speech away from Frankie was you heard what was left. That was the best part. And the only part that was worth hearing. Dr. Hamon, there are many, many, many patients of yours who would like to be recognized this afternoon, but in talking with your office staff, we were told of 3 ladies who have been sort of special to you for many, many years as you provided medical service to them. And again, I'm not sure that they're here, but we certainly hope they are. I would like Dorothy Johnson from Carlisle, Lucille Williams from Carlisle, there's one, and Mabel Stewart from Robertson County. Dr. Hamon is right over there on the end, if you see Mabel. These 3 people say you've meant something very special to them, just as so many other people have said that. And your medical practice has extended far beyond the boundaries of Nicholas County. I don't know how many people realize that they have extended all the way to Southeast Asia because you also have provided medical service for the young lady who is our receptionist this afternoon, June Tansui. So your service is extended all the way to Thailand. The Candy Man. That name mean anything? The Candy Man. Tom Bigelow. Well, Tom Bigelow, who's known as the Candy Man, couldn't be here today, but Debbie Flack is here, and Debbie, would you please come up, and you may have something to say.
No matter how many patients we had at their office, he'd say, catch the candy man, tell him I want candy. So here it is, Dr.
G.C. Myers is representing the Lions Club, one of the co-sponsors of this celebration this afternoon. G.C., you and the Lions have a presentation, I believe. Come up, please.
Frankie, they told me at the door just to read what was on the plaque. But I wasn't going to make any speech anyway, was it, Doctor? 1992 is a special year for Lions Club International. It's our 75th year, and 1992 is a special year for the Nicholas County Lions Club. It's our 10th anniversary. And Dr. Hamon's not only has been a doctor and a farmer and a friend, but he's always been very active in community service and a strong supporter of our Lions Club. So on behalf of the 28 members of the Nicholas County Lions Club, is proud to appoint Dr. Alan J. Hamon as an honorary member of the Nicholas County Lions Club.
met the first baby, we met the first patient. We tried to find the last baby, too. We did identify the last baby you delivered, Dr. Hamon, but I'm not sure, again, whether that person is here. Is John McCarty out here in the audience? Well, in case you'd forgotten, John McCarty was the last baby you delivered. And he didn't make it here today. John, you don't know what you're missing. I have a list of special guests from outside Nicholas County who were invited, but because of this mass of humanity that came storming in this narrow door here, I'm not sure how many of these people are here. So I'm going to read this list of people from out of town who said that they were going to try to be here this afternoon because they felt it was important that they be here. But we all know how that goes in today's world. Is Dr. Sanford Jones, professor of chemistry and biology for Eastern Kentucky University here? There's one of our surprises for the day for you, Dr. Hamon, and at the end of this, you'll have a chance to say hello to him and give him a big hug, too. Is Dr. French, cardiovascular surgeon from Lexington here? Cardiovascular physician is what I have written. I apologize for not reading my own writing. You put the knife down. Dr. James Holloway of Lexington. Good, I can call him a surgeon. That's what I have. Is Dr. David Nash, the Dean of the UK Dental School here? Is Dr. Joe Nicholas from Cynthiana here? Did you ever know an agriculture teacher from Grayson named Poling? Junior Poling, is he here? One of your colleagues, gee, I had a tough time deciding whether he was local or out of town, but I suppose we had to call him out of town. Dr. Tim Scott. You're still one of us, Tim. And Bob Wilkinson, the administrator for Wedco, is here, and Bob has a presentation.
I think it's indeed a pleasure to be here today, and I certainly thank the Rotary Club and Dr. Riggs for giving us a call and allowing us to participate here today. Dr. Hamon, I called the Commissioner of Health, but it was a little late in getting a hold of him, and he had previous commitments and could not be here today. Also, Charles Swinford, who is the Judge Executive of Harrison County, and the chairman of the Wedco District Board of Health would like to have been here today, but he had sickness in his family. But one of the great things about having Dr. Hamon is although he is retired from his regular general practice, he is still a member of the Nicholas County Board of Health and a member of the Wedco District Board of Health. And we plan on keeping him busy for quite a while. We certainly enjoy having him on the board. He's a very conscientious board member and always willing to do those things that a good board member will do. One of the things that comes to mind to me about Dr. Hamon is that we all meet a lot of people during our life, but there's one thing I'll say about this gentleman. I don't believe that he's ever met a stranger. He's always very friendly to everybody. And so we have put together a little plaque which I'd like to present to him today, and I think this statement is very much like Dr. Hamon. It says, "A diamond is a chunk of coal that stuck to its job." Alan Hamon, MD, an appreciation for health services to mankind. February the 2nd, 1992, Wedco Nicholas, Boards of Health and the staff.
Nicholas County High School, as I look to your left, has to have been and still remains a very important part of your life. And I know it was and is, having run into you on numerous Friday nights up here on top of the hill. So we asked Athletic Director Ron Baker and Coach Greg Letcher to be a part of the celebration this afternoon, and I'd like both of these gentlemen to come up. I believe they have a presentation as well.
On behalf of the Nicholas County School System, we'd like to present a plaque to Dr. Alan Hamon for his service and dedication to our system. One of the things that he did for our program as a football coach was provide free physical examinations to our young people while I've been the coach. We'd like to ask him to continue to support us. We really appreciate the time and effort he's put into our program. We'd like to say thank you, Doc.
Dr. Hamon, what do you think it's time for another music break? Let's take a music break. I think he's sort of stunned right now, and just whatever is right is the way he's feeling about it, so we'll just do whatever we think is right. And I think it's right that we have a little bit more music right now. The United Methodist Church here in Carlisle has an outstanding quartet, and they're going to sing for us now. Methodist musicians, please.
Sponsors tonight for today for the invitation and the opportunity to honor Doc. Doc's a member of our church. We're very proud of him. And the two songs that we do, Doc, we'd like to dedicate to you.
My heart and love, and wrote my
hard to catch finding anybody his own age to sing with anymore, so he's hanging out with the older folks. I said, who's that kid on Dr. Hamon, Representative Adrian Arnold was to have been here today to make a presentation in behalf of the Kentucky General Assembly and Governor Brereton Jones, but he called me this morning about 9 o'clock and said that he had been asked to participate in the double funeral in Powell County this afternoon, the death of the sheriff and the deputy in Powell County, and he felt that was something he simply had to do. And I told him that we would miss him, but yes, I agreed with him that was something he had to do. So I will perform the function that Adrian was going to perform this afternoon. And this is from Brereton C. Jones, Governor, to all to whom these presents shall come greeting. Know ye that Honorable Alan J. Hamon, Carlisle, Kentucky, is commissioned a Kentucky Colonel. I hereby confer this honor with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Testimony whereof I have caused these letters to be made patent and the seal of the Commonwealth to be hereunto affixed. Done at Frankfurt the 15th day of January in the year of our Lord 1992 and in the 200th year of the Commonwealth. Signed, Brereton Jones by Bob Babbage, Secretary of State. Do we have to call you Colonel Doctor now? Or Dr. Colonel? Last patients. Again, our scientific research couldn't pin down exactly which was the last, but we know who the last two were, thanks to that wonderful office staff of yours. And I believe they both may be here this afternoon. I know one is. Your last two patients were George Clark and Sheriff Charles Ring. Would you two gentlemen stand and be recognized? They're the last two patients. The Nicholas County Ambulance Service is important in the life of any physician. We heard Mary Catherine make reference to some of the grief that a physician faces, and I know there have been times that you've had to deal with the Nicholas County Ambulance Service that you'd rather not have done that, but you have, as you should have, and certainly would have. Joyce McDonald has a presentation. Joyce?
I'm not good at doing speeches either, so I'm going to read this, Dr. Hammond. Presented to Dr. Alan J. Hammond. Thank you for many years of professional service, sincere and caring service above and beyond the call of duty. We appreciate the many hours you spend to make our job easier. Your kind and loving service will always be remembered. Nicholas County Ambulance Service. Ronnie, Joyce, Bobby, Alan, Vicki, Opal, Lamar, Calvin, we love you and miss you, Dr. Hammond.
Joyce, what's this? I'm not good at making speeches either. Thank you. Well, some of the colleagues, we recognize those from out of town, Dr. Hamon. I think it's time that we look around the room and see how many from this list that I had that we'll call your local colleagues, people with whom you've worked in practice here in Carlisle, people with whom you've worked at the Nicholas County Hospital over these many years. Is Dr. Biggs here? Radiologist? Dr. Biggs apparently was not able to be here. Is Dr. Pamela Combs, cardiologist, here? Dr. Echeverry? There's Dr. Echeverry back in the back. Thank you. Is Dr. Egan here? Some of us can still say, well,
Kentucky have, for the last half a century, had a chronic shortage of family doctors. And unfortunately, I can speak personally to that for the last 38 years anyway, not quite a half century. The late 60s, 1968 or 69, I think which, we were in a little worse shape than usual. Dr. Scott and Dr. Reynolds had retired and died. Dr. Jack Morford had practiced about 25 years. He was up to about here with what he could do. I had had a partnership with first Dr. Pendergrass, who had left, and then Dr. Van Jenkins, who had left, and I was left trying to deliver about 200 babies a year and taking care of 3,000 or 4,000 people. So we were kind of short-handed, and I guess I've always been sort of the unofficial doctor searcher for Nicholas County, and was searching at that time. Noticed an ad in the KMA publication of doctors who might have some interest in practicing in Kentucky. One of them was a young fellow I'd never heard of, Alan Hamon. Contacted him, said, why don't you come by and consider Carlisle? They did. They came up to our house, our living room. Jenny says that Ann had on a lovely white dress that day, sitting on our couch. And as I remember, she was maybe a little bit pregnant. And there it is. But anyway, Helen says, do you really think that I'd be busy? Would I have enough to do in Nicholas County? And I said, well, Helen, I think Nicholas County could take care of 10 more doctors. Give us a try. And he said, well, you know, Ann's family lives right over in Indiana, and my family are not too far away. This might not be a bad place to come. And sure enough, they did. And, well, that brings us up to today, with 2 years in between. It takes certain special characteristics to be a good family doctor in a rural area. Of course, you need the skills and the training. That's for granted. But you also need a few extra things. And you need dedication. You need a sense of humor. And you need to be willing to work pretty hard. Alan and Ann came, found a place to practice, found a little house, and I don't remember too much about his not having enough work to do. We never really had time to sit down and have long, friendly chats, but whenever I came in the hospital every morning, I didn't have to ask if Alan was there. I could hear him down far in the hall telling a joke to a patient. Well, Alan has stuck it out. And as a fellow doctor, I say from all of your medical community and your physicians, thank you, Alan.
Our list of local colleagues is not yet completed. I took this alphabetically, and K just sort of fell right in the middle, so we'll go on with more right now. Is Dr. Jack Morford here? Gladys Sweeney, the administrator of the Robertson County Health Department, is with us in celebration this afternoon. Ms. Sweeney, would you come forward, please? She's sending a representative. And this representative may introduce herself, since I don't know who she is. Oh, yes, I do. I haven't seen her looking like this.
Ms. Sweeney has asked me to present this on behalf of some of the many friends Dr. Hamon has in Mount Olivet since I've been working over there. And since August, I think I've come to realize what he's meant to the people of Mount Olivet. And let me just read this card. I think
so much to so many. And there's a list of many not on the people. So, say thank you.
That's that girl that works at the dentist's office. Thank you, Pam. Dan Miller, the administrator of Nicholas County Hospital. Dan, are you here? I know I saw you earlier. Yes. Would you like to come forward and make a presentation, please?
Really, Cliff was supposed to do this. I'll just say a couple words on behalf of all the people who work at the hospital and the nursing home. We've got about 150 people at Vinci and Lot Allen, myself included.
Dr. Villaflor? So, yes, very well, sir. My eyesight's really failing when I can't recognize Pam Sparks and Dr. Villaflor. Is there an ophthalmologist in the house? Well, in case you thought we were not going to recognize all of these wonderful people who were lined up over here, and who are very special people to all of the Hammonds family, I am going to ask two people to stand and be recognized first of all, and that would be Mr. Arthur Hamon and Mrs. Harriet Hamon. The parents Mr. and Ms. Hamon, I think that was a display, a very honest and sincere display of the affection this county feels for your son, Alan. I'm not sure there could be a stronger show than you just saw. I would like to call on Dr. Andrew Hamon to come forward now, please, and perhaps make some remarks on behalf of the Hamon family and introduce the remainder of the family that's here, if you'd like. Dr. Hamon.
You would have to ask me to come up after that, wouldn't you? I got a few thoughts together here. Boy, what can I tell you all about my brother? I've been asked to be the spokesperson for the family. There are so many things that I could say. The memories are just so numerous. Gosh, I just can't tell you all the things that have been running through my mind the last several days. And I just can't in a very few minutes. But give you some of the highlights and things that I'll give you the other side of my brother, okay? As a son, dependable. Probably I would consider the leader of the family, because I looked up to him, being 3 years younger, and anything that Dad asked to be done, Alan would do it, and he would lead me along the way since I was smaller. And it's only recently that I've gained this much weight, because as you can tell, he always rooted me out of the trough, so I was skinny. One advantage to that was that I never got hand-me-downs, because I was always so small I could never fit into his clothes. But he was a hard worker. I remember many hours getting our typical day on the farm, getting up early in the morning with the sunrise. In fact, as I remember, we learned to blow smoke rings because it was cold, and we'd get back in the barn and the sunlight coming through, and through our breath we could make smoke rings. So we did that without smoking, guys. But he was a leader of the family. he taught me. I could say he taught me everything I know, but he didn't. But he taught me a lot as a but he was also my guardian. He would watch out for me. We'd have our fights. Gosh, I mean, our kids have their fair share, and I can remember us as growing up as kids, we did. I don't know whether you probably don't know about this kind of thing, but we had clod fights when we grew up. You know, one in one row and one the other. I see a lot of the older folks shaking their heads. You young folks don't know what I'm talking about, but the older ones did. And gosh, we'd had snowball fights, milk fights. Anybody ever have a milk fight? You know, you get one. Yeah. Get one stall, one the other. You squirt. My dad didn't know about all this. Okay. But we had some good times. And we'd drop out of the hayloft, you know, we'd be up 3 or 4 tiers, and we'd have hay down here and drop through it. I mean, through 3, you know, where the tobacco sticks fit across, right? I mean, we'd be dropping 20 feet down. Like we never got killed. I don't know what happened, but God was watching us, because we used to do this sort of thing. I remember those kind of things. Playing cowboys and Indians and making whistles from pawpaw branches, because you have to get real straight just to make a nice whistle. Some of y'all can relate to this, I think, some of the, particularly ones that are my age or a little older. The youngsters, I don't think understand some of these things. We're going to have to teach them a little bit about the way of country life. Gosh, I remember him willing to give his life for me. In the middle of a big pond, I was a little scrawny kid thinking I was going to drown, and he jumped in after me to save me. Then when he got 3 feet away, I decided I could swim, so I went to shore. Remember that? I could bring back some of these moments. Playing no-nid pegs. I remember that. Shooting the anvil. Probably some of you don't know what that is. But that's where you put 2 big anvils on top of each other, a little black powder in between, which was illegal for us to do. But we did it anyway. Hope nobody gets me before I get out of here. And anyway, you light the match and it go off, and the anvil go up in the air and back down. They got a heck of a boom, okay? We didn't have firecrackers, so we could get black powder and do it. We did fun things like that. Hunting together, squirrel hunting, things like that. I remember working with him. I came here to Carlisle for a couple of years, and Alan was willing to take me in, knowing that I would leave, because my medical heart was in the area of obstetrics and gynecology, and he was willing to take me in and under his wing for a couple of years. But to be honest with you, that's why I left, because he worked me too hard. I had to leave. But I knew that he loved me. And as a younger brother, I couldn't help a lot. He helped me more than I helped him, but I still remember him having surgery and being able to at least help him in that situation. I remember one time getting hit in the face with a hockey puck as we were playing hockey on our pond. And I was at least able to help him then, too. I felt sorry for him. That hurt. I broke his nose. Well, he probably doesn't remember some of those things I'm talking about. These are things that I can share with you that I thought about over the last week or two. Some of the neat experiences, like getting his thumb dipped by a mule. Not once, but twice. They come in, oh, I hurt myself, feel better. How'd you do it? Well, I was feeding the corn like this. You got it again. Those are fun times. Sticking a knife in his big toe as we were playing splits. Have you ever played splits? I still remember that knife. I threw it down so hard it stuck in his big toe. Went boom. I went off running to the house, crying and screaming at Alan. I don't think he ever shed a tear. I don't think he did. He just pulled it out and wiped off the bottom into the house. That's my big brother. Yeah, I remember us spending fun times together, getting sick together. That's when we took a pack of cigarettes, went out from a friend's house, and I don't know how we did it. We smoked a whole pack of cigarettes in 2 hours. we got so sick coming back. We ate Cheez-Its along with it, so I don't know what happened, but we didn't make it back to the house in one piece, and for the life of me, I don't know how in the world our parents never said a word to us. I mean, I know they had to know what happened, but they were very kind, and then said, well, I guess they felt sorry for us, we were so sick. I remember practicing with Alan, and I did admire him because he was gentle with his patients. He was kind to them. I learned a lot those first 2 years, and when I went back into residency, I did apply a lot of that. It was fun working with him, but he did it. He worked hard. And I've told other family doctors, I really don't see how you do it. I did not feel like I was smart enough to do all the things that he was doing. I didn't feel like I had the stamina to do what he was doing, and that's why I specialized. And I do admire him for that. It was hard. I know he gave a lot of his life to you all, and I know you all give a lot of your lives to him too. And you put your lives in his hands, and I think that that relationship that you all have is unique, and you all should covet that relationship. I remember so many things that, I can't begin to express to you how our relationship has developed through our lives, from kids fighting with each other, me following him all the way through, and being called Alan's little brother all the way through high school, all the way through high school, all the way through college, and particularly when I had to take Dr. Jones's course. That was awful, because I had to live up to this straight A student, guys. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It still isn't easy. I still have to live up to it. But I've had a lot of thoughts. And Mary Ellen and Louise both, our sisters, wrote letters to us, but Mary Ellen wrote a real long one, so I couldn't really read it because it's too... I'm take away from me talking, okay? I couldn't read that. But she did send her love and how much Alan has meant to her and how much of a rock he was to the family. I think Louise said it very well, much more eloquently than I could. And I'd like to read her letter to Alan, okay? Dear Alan, there is a prayer that begins, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. You have been an instrument of peace all these years. For those days, the celebration of your life was planned. And for those days, I salute you, your family, and all those who touched you and whom you touched. The real joy of today is ahead. You will still be an instrument of peace. God knows in what ways and how avenues will be open to you. I have faith that giving and receiving happiness, pleasure, and love will always be a part of your life. Enjoy your day. Wish my family and I could be here. Love, Louise. And I think this expresses our sentiment as well. Do you want me to introduce the people over here? I'd like to introduce the family, please. Okay. I'm going to start with the left over there, Orrin Freddie Longstick. Start this way, Coach. I call him, and if you want to talk, Vince, if you want to get up here and share this microphone, because I'm not giving it up for a while. Okay? We call them Aunt Orrin and Freddie. Actually, they're our second cousins. But first cousin. First cousin? Yeah, that's right. I kept thinking aunt and uncle all my life, and finally after I get out of college, I said, oh no, they're not, they're your cousins. So I didn't know that. And my mother, and our mother and dad, and that you all already been introduced to, my wife Carrie, and our daughters Nikki and Sherry. Our other son Brian is a medical tech over at the Clark Regional Hospital, and he is now a junior at Eastern, where we graduated from, and he is heading towards the medical field as well. And I'm sorry you didn't get to see you, Dr. Jones. I warned him all about you. But those thoughts I wanted to share with you. And I just want you to know, brother, that we all do love you and we care for you. And this has been an experience for all of us, okay? And I just hope that the activities that he has going on in his life will continue. I know they will, and that you all will continue to love him as much as he loves you all.
The idea for this afternoon of celebration originated in the head of Dr. Leon Riggs. And I think I want to acknowledge that at this moment that we're all here because of the respect and the admiration that Leon dissent, obviously. And here we are. So I'm going to ask now Dr. Hamon that the president of the Carlisle Rotary Club, Betsy Davenport, come forth and make a presentation in behalf of the Carlisle Rotary.
Thanks, Bill. I hope all of you noticed the first look of anxiety on Dr. Hammond's face today comes when he has to realize there's a lawyer approaching. Us lawyers have the unfortunate reputation of picking on doctors with some regularity. I need to advise you, too, that I have some fear that my fellow colleagues at the bar will wonder what the devil I'm doing paying tribute to a doctor. But with that great risk and with the show of affection you all give today, I certainly want to make out of an honorary Rotarian first. Now that you may listen to me with proper membership, I want to tell you that Dr. Hamon, for lawyers, is the most efficient and effective practitioner when it comes to getting your medical statements into the hands of legal people, who then must sometimes convey them to those people that determine whether or not you go to work, stay home, get your job back, get your Social Security, get your workers' comp, get your personal injury claim, or any other meds that you might have had to go through some legal forum for. Now, the way he does this in the most efficient and effective manner is very unique from most physicians. He talks to his staff in the normal tone of voice. He speaks to his calendar in the normal tone of voice. But when the attorney arrives with the court reporter, it looks like this room. And he says, "Oh, please, Madam Lawyer, take all the time you feel." And we do. But we do it really quickly, because it would be haunted by guilt if we do it with anything less. For the times that I have had to hear criticism of Dr. Hamon, and I hope he has had to hear about me, and for the times I've had to hear the gratitude for Dr. Hamon, God willing, maybe he will sometime hear one about me. I want to ask my colleague, Doug Garrett, to come forward. Are you coming? And bring with you the gift the community has made available for Dr. Hamon today, in order that he might appropriately listen to those complaints that other people bring him about other people, each other, but not about him any longer. And in anticipation of lots of listening to complaints about other things and other people, and your ability and experience in having done so, and advised, and all the adjectives you've heard today, it is my deep and sincere honor and privilege to present to Alan J. Hamon, M.D., the Citizen of the Decade Award, and I'd ask you to stand in his honor for that.
Thank you, Betsy. We felt it was only appropriate that a person who is named Citizen of the Decade should be able to relax and enjoy that kind of accord, and we couldn't think of a better place to enjoy it than in a chair such as that. So that is a gift from the community, and particularly from the Carlisle Rotary Club and the Carlisle Lions Club, for you to enjoy for the remainder of your days, and we want the leather to wear out long before you do. And that's long-lasting leather. We've come to the end of this celebration. It's been exciting. It's brought a few tears. It's brought a few laughs. It should have done all of those things, and it has. But whether serious, whether humorous, the most important thing that has happened here today is that this community has had a unique and special opportunity to say two very simple words to a man who deserves words that we can't really find. From Nicholas County and Carlisle, for all of us, Dr. Hamon, very simply, thank you. We would like to acknowledge the support and the cooperation of the Carlisle Lions Club, the Carlisle Rotary Club, the Carlisle Women's Club, the Hospital Auxiliary, which has provided refreshments for all of us to enjoy at the conclusion of this celebration, to the local churches and other organizations in the community who have helped in various ways make this afternoon possible, and especially to Dr. Leon Riggs for the idea, and to Dr. Leon Ginger Riggs for the flowers that are here today. Thank you. I asked Dr. Hamon if he wanted to come to the microphone and say something, and he said, "No, you get paid for talking, you do it for me." Relax. So in addition to all of the other appreciation that we've expressed to individuals and to organizations, I think I can speak in behalf of Dr. Alan Hamon and in behalf of the entire family when I say those two simple words again, thank you. Without you, over these past years, today would not have been possible. So thank you, and again, thank you, Dr. Hamon.